Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to WFSO preview. On this one, we're just going to talk about the matches and my predictions on Stand and Deliver pay per view, which will be an amazing pay per view. But I'm going to talk about a little bit of some news. But this is a rumor right now, but I don't know if it's going to be officially true. But it probably, if I go like look back on the website, probably see that they're going to have a pay per view called Battleground, which was an old WWE pay per view, and that's going to be in May in Massachusetts. Kind of same thing when the Ring of Honor had their pay per view or their first one. I think it was I forgot what that pay per view was for Ring of Honor, but seems like they're going to have it there as well. So that's you know kind of strange, and I thought they probably would have if they would pick all places, they probably would at least pick Boston to do a pay per view or something like that if they're going to be in Massachusetts. But that's just me. But we will look at that in a bit. But let's just talk about these matches. So there's Chase U and Tyler Bay versus Schism. This will also be the debut of The Rock's daughter, Ava Rain. Hopefully that was the right name, but her right wrestling name. But yeah, cool, like an 8-person tag. So something different, but I don't think they're gonna lose the Chase U name. So I think they're gonna retain it. Chase U and Tyler Bate. They're gonna retain it. Unsanctioned match. Jerry Gargano versus Grayson Waller. With the unsanctioned match, that means whoever wins, it wouldn't matter, wouldn't count anyway. So, but we must have a winner. But like I said, the match ain't gonna count. No, they've been feuding ever since Shawn Michaels announced Jerry Gargano was going to face Grayson Waller at Stand and Deliver. And they've just been feuding with each other since. Um, I think um, I think Grayson Waller could be afford to lose this match since it ain't going to count anyway. And plus, I know he's going to hopefully on this one he steals the show, and we see where that goes. So most likely Jerry Gargano, I think, is going to win this match. I could be wrong, but I think Jerry Gargano is going to win it. NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Fowler Henry, Katana James, and versus Apple Fire and Isa Dawn. Um, this wasn't like much of a storyline to go with. It wasn't much. It's just like they kind of challenged them, and here it is. But just to be honest, I know that Fallon and Kiana just won these tag titles like in a recent was it the February pay per view? Not sure, but could be. But yeah, they just won these, and I will say like they would retain it, but for as far as the storyline is going, like what they doing, I don't think it's gonna happen. So I think Apple Fire and Azadon is gonna win and be the new women's tag champs. So that's 3 matches so far. So NXT Tag Team Championships triple threat match. Um, Gallus defending the titles against the Creed brothers and the family. Stacks and Tony D'Angelo. So this will be interesting. They did like a little segment, like they was all drinking at a bar and just it was like all tired and guess they was out drink or whatever the case may be. I only saw like part of it. So recently like Brooks and Jensen had a match with the family, and if they would have won, they would have been in there. It would have been a fatal 4-way, but unfortunately that didn't happen. The family did win. Um God, Gallus just recently won this too, so this one would be a hard thing to call, but most likely I think Gallus will retain the tag team titles. So they had just win it. So that's my pick for that. NXT North American Championship Fatal Five Way. You got Wesley versus the debut of Dragon Lee. JD McDonough versus Aja Northwell. Those two are feuding. So an X-Man who won that was that 20-man battle royal that they had on Tuesday. Um who's gonna win it? I know he want to keep challenging himself and Wesley and all that stuff, but I think Dragon Lee will come to a threat of like going for the North American Championship down the road. But right now, I'll say Wesley will retain. NXT Women's Championship ladder match. It was Gigi Golan, Timothy Stratton, Lyra Bakura, Joey Starks, and Indy Hartwell, which she had entered in this past Tuesday by winning her match this past Tuesday. Um, but here's the trigger. Although it's a ladder match, they was supposed to be in the vacant women's championship, but I didn't see all of it. But apparently Roxanne Perez is clear to wrestle and probably put the title back on her. So now she's defending it in the ladder match. So this is gonna be more tricky on is she gonna retain it or not. So like, oh, excuse me, sorry. All these women deserve, you know, to hold it. And just waiting on, because who knows, the women may get like called up to the main roster, some of them. So I'm just thinking that Roxanne Perez is gonna retain the women's championship in the ladder match. And for the main event, the NXT championship, Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes. Um, he ended up winning the match just to sorry, just my nose. He ended up winning the match to be the number one contender, and well, they didn't claim he was the number one contender, but it kind of like put him in that field that he is a possibility could be the number one contender. But Bomb Breaker has been champion like two-time NXT champion for like about 2 years now, I believe. So mostly I believe that I think they're gonna go mostly with Carmelo Hayes winning this, just because I think it's gonna be time for Braun Breaker to drop the title, and also time for him to get called up on the main roster because he's been so dominant ever since he's been in NXT, and I think it's like time for him to get called up, and he probably will get pushed for that's the next young star that they push. So we're just gonna see how that goes. But yeah, I'm going for Carmelo Hayes to win this title and have him like carry it for a while. So are my picks, and like I said, it should be interesting pay-per-view. So it starts at noon Central Time, um, 1 p.m. Eastern, and that would be 10 a.m. Pacific. So yeah, it's gonna start early and when people in LA. So it's like you really got to get up and go see that. But anyways, so just gonna end it here. Thank our sponsors, Art from the Heart. Check them out on Facebook. moving dudes, check them out on Facebook. And if you're living within Wisconsin, if you want to move, they would be the ones to call. So call Sean at 414-807-4299. And thank you all the people that watch the podcast. Spread the words and let people know that we're doing like wrestling content and Milwaukee Bucks content. And after you guys on YouTube, please like this video, give it a like, and spread the word about this channel too. Please subscribe. We are looking for like more subscribers. Like the more we subscribe, the more like live videos and stuff that we will do. We were at certain amount of numbers. We're still over 300, but we did get a extra person that did get a subscriber, so that's pretty cool. And as for on Spotify, we're trying to get more people to listen to us, so please spread the word. And that is pretty much it. So until the next video, which will probably be sometime later on today, talking about WrestleMania, and until the next podcast where we will talk about the same thing and be on later on today. You guys have a good night, and you'll probably get to hear me later on today. So see you later.